I just want to share with you a couple of thoughts about technology, innovation, and modern war that I think are global problems. New technologies are rapidly changing weapon systems, operational concepts, and the very nature of war. Rapid innovation in new technologies, and the whole suite of them, are no longer being led by military and government labs, but instead they're coming from commercial vendors, from companies, and unfortunately, many of them Chinese. The result is that unlike the last 75 years, militaries in both the US and India can no longer predict or control future technologies used in war. And while existing contractors who develop their expertise all around hardware continue to be important, many of these new weapons in wars will be driven by software: AI, machine learning, cyber, quantum, autonomy for drones, ships, and tanks. And these new technologies are not just making new weapon systems, but they're driving new operational concepts. Current approaches, both in the past and today, to innovation across the government, and here I'm talking about the US, are piecemeal, incremental, and increasingly less relevant and insufficient. And you are best to judge of whether that's true also in India. Both in the US and potentially in India, need new sources of disruptive innovation and ideas. Again, not as replacements for the valuable prime contractors we have, but as complementary partners who are agile, can attract the best and the brightest, and are willing to bet their company on new ideas. But this new generation of military systems are being built around software with hardware as the add-on, and upgrades can happen over the air in weeks, not years. Today, the world's innovation ecosystem for new technologies are actually venture capital and startups, both in India and the United States. One very specific solution is that a Department of Defense should pick new entrants as winners at scale. Each service should pick 10 to 20 startups or scale-up winners and buy heavily. Just as a reminder, and you live with this as a neighbor, so you understand this, but China has invested over $100 billion in moving its manufacturing base from making low-tech products to rapidly developing new high-tech industries, including electric cars, next-generation computing, telecommunications, robotics, etc. Now, I understand these are not minor changes, but the technology is certainly within the reach of the Indian defense community. It's the organizational changes that will be the most difficult. They strike at the heart of the status quo, in the military, with existing contractors, with all the existing arrangements that exist. But understand that China has mastered them, and so have other adversaries next to India. And so the future of India's security and peace in the region depends on how India moves to the future. We're happy to help here in the United States. We think of India as our greatest partner in the region, and we're ready to be engaged. So thank you for the time.